I heard they checking for me, no one checking on me, so I had to go run up a check. I got the message, homie, ain't no flexing on me, my attorney gon' call and collect. Blessings on blessings for me, my successes only made them envious, they got upset. I had to put all their egos in check. I want the money, the pride, respect, and I heard you know so-and-so, you not a threat, cause I really know so-and-so, they like my family, so they go pretend that they cool till they bust at your motherfucking chest. I'm getting gutter, my flow been like butter, my check in the bank, they see the number. All of my haters feel one of two ways, really upset or they show some respect. I can't even think about it, I've been up, so read about it, no beat around it, straight to it, no ring around it. You coming for me, we'll see about it, we'll never see it when I get my feet up. 100 meters where I run the fee up, and go ka-ching and nana mana pia. I had to re-up on a reel, so you stay the feeder, and put it back into the bit, cause I don't really need it.
It's time! Welcome to DFS by the Numbers with your host, Brady.
Better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers, and welcome to Best Bet for UFC Vegas 49. We have Islam Makhachev going against Bobby Green. We have an 11-fight card. In my opinion, a very sketchy card. It's definitely a light card for me. You know, typically go heavier, and I will be going heavier next week for a big card. But this week we have fights like Ziam, Nunez, Ramona, Pasqual. We have Priscilla catch a beating on the card. But we do have some actually good fights like Terrence McKinney, Ziam. We have the Alvarez, Tsaryukian fight's going to be good. So I think the card is going to deliver. But like I said, in my opinion, a very, very sketchy card that I'm going to keep kind of light here. So as always, I'm here with Weezy and Narcocop. Eric will be back for next week, but rolling with us 3 today. So Weezy, what is up? You looking forward to some Josie and Nunez?
Yeah, man, you know I am, dude. It's going to be there's a couple of really handsome women on this card, and you know I'm a big fan of that. We got Nunez there with the Josiani Joe Benavidez connection, and then we got Priscilla Cachoeira. Yeah, it's an interesting card, man. We got to keep in mind that next week is UFC 272. We don't want to get out over our skis this week. Well, let's be nice and calm this week, and then maybe next week we can kind of just open up with both barrels. But I'm staying light on this card. It's a little bit sketchy, like you said, man.
Yeah, a lot of these fights, I just can't bet on them. So we'll see what happens there. We'll talk about our best bets. Narco, what is up? Are you ready to win a Lambo today?
What's up, Brady? Yeah, I'm always ready to win a Lambo, man. I had a bunch of big plays yesterday. I just want to correct one thing that you said. It's not catcher beating anymore. It's catcher cheating.
Yes, it is.
It really is.
She has a bunch of nicknames, apparently. But, yeah, it should be a fun card. I do want to shout out the chat before we get started. As always, if you guys can please leave a like, subscribe to the channel. I also put the new link to the MMA Engine. Me, Weezy, Lou, and Monk are all going to be on there starting next week. So go subscribe to the MMA Engine. I also put the links to Weezy's channel and Narcocops channel as well. So go check those out and smash the subscribe button. Mike, first one in the chat. What is up, Mike? We have Grateful Dude in the chat as well. The Hot Crispy hanging out. Raw Torque. We have Daz in the chat. Gas. We have Gus. My bad. Jay, Mike, Jeremiah in the chat as well. We got Chris. What is up, Chris? Curtis Stevens. Dumpling Plays. What is up, Ao? Lil Mac. I saw PayPal in there as well. Ariel Hiwani. Sugar Show. Curtis Stevens, all you guys, appreciate you hanging out. The chat is killing it already, and we haven't even talked about the first fight. So we're going to get into it here, and let us start with the very first fight of the night. We have Victor Altamirano going against Carlos Hernandez. I'll start with you, Narco. What do you like on this fight here?
Yeah, I mean, I had a huge bet on Hernandez early on at minus 125. I just think he's the much better fighter everywhere. Altamirano has decent kicks and not much else, to be honest. Throws a lot of volume, has good cardio, but those things are what wins Altamirano fights, and Hernandez can match both those things. With that being said, both guys are very durable. They've never been stopped in their careers. I believe maybe Altamirano been subbed once, but I like the fight goes to decision at minus 150. I have played the over 2.5 and the fight goes to decision. But I will say one thing. It's a very sneaky prop here that no one's looking at. It's Hernandez by submission. I think you get around 450, 475. And the reason why I say this is people don't look at Hernandez as a much of a grappler, but he's actually really good. he's got about between his amateurs and professional career, he's got, I think, 11 subs, all by rear naked choke. And Altamirano, he's been subbed by rear naked choke 5 different times, including in the amateurs. So that's something to look out for.
I agree. I mean, I went with the fight goes to decision. I think we're seeing it the exact same way. I went the fight goes to decision at -150, but the only thing kind of stopping me from betting that was that Hernandez by submission. I think if there is a finish in that fight, it will be Hernandez by submission. So I kind of like both of those. But most importantly, that fight goes to decision at -150. I think, like you said, and out of their all combined losses, only one has been finished. I think it was Altamirano by submission. So give me the fight goes to decision -150, but I also don't hate the submission. Uncle Weezy, what are you looking at here?
Yeah, I'm looking at Hernandez as well here. I've got round 3 or by decision at +135 on FanDuel for Hernandez. I like that spot. Just to build on what Narcocops said, we got Carlos Hernandez, 7 career wins as a pro, 4 of them by submission. He's never knocked anyone out. And in Altamirano's only pro loss, he was submitted. And then if you go back to the amateurs, we see I think Hernandez might have had 13 or 14 amateur fights as well. Gets a lot of submissions. And Altamirano is a guy that's pretty easy to take down and hold down. He accepts bottom position. So I could really see Hernandez not only just winning this fight, gathering up a ton of control time, but potentially finishing it with a submission. So, yeah, that's the way I'm looking at this one. Hernandez, round 3 or by decision, +135 on FanDuel.
Sounds good to me. I think that's a good way to lower the price a little bit. I see he's like -180 on BetOnline now, -146 on FanDuel. So if I was playing Hernandez, I think that's kind of the way I'd look. But we'll move on to the next fight of the night. And I talk about this card being sketchy, and this is actually a pretty sketchy fight here. We have Ramiz Brahimaj going against Michael Gilmore, and I will kick this one off. The bet that I do like for this fight, and there's actually a couple, and I do have 2 bets on this fight, which scares the crap out of me. But, Ramiz Brahimaj is -415 on BetOnline, which, first of all, he probably shouldn't be -415 against anybody. But luckily, he is fighting Michael Gilmore here, who, the takedown defense is extremely questionable, and the submission defense is even more questionable. He's been finished in all of his losses, got finished on The Ultimate Fighter in the first round by Gilbert Urbina. And Ramiz Brahimaj, he's a very good wrestler, very good grappler. He's finished all of his fights, 100% of them, and he's finished 8 out of his 9 wins in the first round. When he does leave the first round, he is 1-4 in those fights. So if Gilmore is able to survive that first round, if it does get into the second, I think it's going to be a good live betting opportunity. But I think Brahimaj does finish Gilmore early. But the bet I really do like, and there's 2 that I'll throw out here. So the first one is going to be Ramiz Brahimaj to win in either round 1 or round 2 at +100, which it really makes no sense to me considering he's -415 on the money line. But +100, he's literally never won a fight in the third round. He's never won by decision, and he's never even won a fight over the 1.5 round mark. So I like Brahimaj to win in round 1 or round 2, or even the under 2.5. I know it's -180 now, -175, but I still think that's good. And I think it's a lot better than laying the -400 than Brahimaj. So I'm looking at the under 2.5. I'm looking at Brahimaj round 1 or round 2. I was also looking at Brahimaj in round 1, but the bookies seem to be all over that. So a lot of my night is going to be on Brahimaj here, and I absolutely hate it, but he really should go out here and finish Michael Gilmore. Narco, how are you seeing this one?
Pretty much see it similar to you. 2 guys that are high variance. I don't really want to take any money line here, even though I think Gilmore has a little bit of value just because Brahimaj, last second replacement, didn't look really good on the scales. Last guy to weigh in. He's already gassy as it is, and now it's short notice. I expect him to gas out even quicker. But with that being said, most of his wins except 1, I think, are in the first round. I do like the KO prop on him, which is it's come down severely. I think it was 9. Oh, there's still 950 out there, plus 950. Since he finishes them all in the first round, I think he's going to have good position here. Why not take Brahimaj round 1 KO TKO at +1800? It's a pretty insane line, I think, with how bad Gilmore is on the ground.
Yeah, I was looking at the same thing earlier in the week, and I saw the Brahimaj first round knockout prop at something crazy because they had the first round sub at like +200, but Brahimaj round 1 KO is +1800. I think that's sneaky as well. So interesting way to play it there. Weezy, how about you?
I'm sorry to change the subject, but somebody just said in the chat, is this true that they have Josiane Nunez listed as Journey Newsome on Bovada? Is that true?
I can go check it out while you talk.
Oh God! Well, I'll talk. Please check that out, because if it is, I need
true.
a screenshot of it, and I'm going to set it as the background of my computer. But yeah, Brahimaj Gilmore. I've got Brahimaj down as my ass shaving of the week. It just feels like it's a setup fight for him, even though he took it on short notice, and Gilmore was supposed to fight Johnny Parsons. Gilmore gets submitted. Brahimaj gets all his wins by submission. I just think it's probably the best way to go is just go Brahimaj inside the distance at -150. That being said, I still don't even have a bet on this fight because I think the line is just crazy juiced here, and it's a lot to lay on this fight.
Is the line so wide that you'd be willing to take a shot on Michael Gilmore?
Oh God, no, it's not. I don't know what number it would have to get to for me to be able to say, yeah, I bet on Michael, because still, it doesn't matter what the line is. You still have to admit at the end of the day that you bet Gilmore, and I just don't think he's ready here. Every time he's been submitted as a pro, it's been at 170 pounds. So, yeah, I think he's going to get submitted.
Yeah, if Brahimaj came in here on like a full camp, I'd be more confident in him. But, short notice, it's sketchy. It definitely is. But give me Brahimaj for that first round finish. We'll move on to the next fight. We have Alejandro Perez going against Jonathan Martinez. I think this should be a very exciting one. We'll start with you, Weezy. What are you liking for this fight here?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. Perez just didn't look great in the last fight against Eduardo. I had picked him as my ass shaving of the week, and I was really nervous after round one. But I wasn't as nervous as I should have been, because what I had seen on tape from Eduardo just told me this guy's 44, 43 years old. He quits after one round. And he even had a little bit of success at the beginning of the second round against Perez, which I didn't remember when I rewatched the fight. But yeah, I don't know about Perez, man. He just, him asking for this to be up a weight class. I just don't like his chances here, you guys. But I also don't want to try to pick it out whether he's going to win by knockout, submission, decision. So I think just use that money line for Martinez as a parlay piece. It's probably the safest way to go for this fight.
Yeah, I went with the exact same thing, Martinez parlay piece. I did bet him earlier in the week at -230. I'm kind of surprised this much money came in on him, but I mean, I saw the same thing as you. Went back and watched the Perez versus Eduardo fight, and Eduardo is literally like a 44-year-old bantamweight. And yeah, Eduardo won like the first round and a half, and he was on his way to winning that second round, and then Perez shot in for a takedown, then submitted him. And as we know, Eduardo's been submitted like 10 times. I just did not like what I saw, especially on the feet from Perez. He came in after like a 2-year layoff. He was doing this weird movement thing, not throwing anything, and just losing the minutes on the feet against a 44-year-old Johnny Eduardo. If he looks like that against Martinez, I think Martinez should, make this look pretty easy. And I'm with you. I don't know if Martinez is going to knock out Perez. I think he's, capable of doing so. I think he's also capable of winning a decision as well. And, one thing you have to worry about with Perez is he does have a very good ground game. It's just he doesn't choose to use it as much as he should. Has like a 20% takedown accuracy. And on top of that, Martinez, very good takedown defense, very good get-up game, and underrated grappling game as well. So I think Martinez has him covered, pretty much everywhere. I think if Perez does go for takedowns, they'll be stuffed. Martinez keeps on the feet and kind of outpoints Perez, maybe knocks him out at some point, but I'll just play it safe. Give me Martinez parlay piece, -315, -310, -290. Narcocop, how about you? What are you liking?
Yeah, I'm pretty much seeing everything you guys are seeing. The other thing I do want to mention is Alejandro Perez asked for this fight to be moved up to 145 like a day before weigh-ins. And to top it off, he barely fucking made weight. Like, he was sweating on that scale. He was shaking on the scale. Like, you can't tell me this guy was training for this fight. I don't think he was training for this fight. Like the guy's 135er that barely made 100. I mean, he made the weight, but he didn't look good on the scales. So that tells me that he was just not training. He wasn't doing his cardio. And now he's fighting a guy in Martinez who has very good takedown defense on the feet. He's just going to piece up Perez. I just think he's going to stop Perez here, to be honest. I don't think Perez is ready. You're getting +270 on FanDuel, which is a lot better price than anywhere else for the KO. And then I'll also look at KO3 because Martinez does push a pace and he does come on in the third round, and he does have, I believe, 2 stoppages in the third round. So with one guy not being in shape, one guy pushing the pace, and he does go for it in the third round. I don't think that's a bad look. In the third round, I think KO is at plus 1,400.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I like it. Yeah, I just think Martinez is going to be too much for him. And like you said, is Perez prepared for this fight? Was he training? Was he taking it serious? Is he coming in injured? Why would he ask it for a weight class up? When I heard that, I thought it would be Martinez asking for a weight class up because he has struggled with weight before. But no, it was Perez. And like you said, he did not look good. And Martinez, he's young. He's had a good camp. He's only getting better. I think it's a tough spot for Perez here. I could think Martinez gets it done as well. So we're all on the same page here. And this is probably my favorite fight on the prelims. We have Terrence McKinney going against Fares Ziam. I think this is going to be a very fun and exciting fight. We'll start with you, Weezy. What do you like for this fight here?
Yeah, I like this fight, period. It's going to be a really fun one. Fares Ziam's 24 years old. McKinney's 27. These guys are both really fun to watch. Ziam's got really slick striking. McKinney's explosive, got some great wrestling here. I did a balls deep breakdown of this fight on my channel. And when I really looked into it, what I saw was that McKinney does things very well that Ziam hates. And that's pressure and wrestling and top heavy control on the ground. I think McKinney is a bad matchup for Ziam. And I think he does everything well that Ziam doesn't handle well in the octagon. And from what we've seen in these three fights, the Don Madge and the Malarkey fight, he has a hard time getting off the cage. He has a hard time defensively wrestling. And then in the third round of the Vendramini fight, you saw Vendramini pressure the shit out of him and have a ton of success because Fares is a very technical striker. So if you get him backing up, if you don't let him plant his feet, you can have a lot of success there. I like everything that McKinney does here, and I'm just going to say the money line for McKinney, plus 100. I think this might even be his first decision win, because I think that maybe the path of least resistance for him here is to wrestle for 3 rounds, if he can do that at this level. I don't know if he can yet, but I'm not willing to just take the inside the distance here. I'd rather just take the money line because it is even money right now and roll with Terrence McKinney.
Yeah, my problem with McKinney is that cardio questions. Like we saw in the Sean Woodson fight, he had success in that first round and really just fell off a cliff in that mid-second. So, I mean, I think he I think he has the tools to win this fight for sure. His wrestling's top-notch, wrestled in high school, college. His grappling's really good. He actually has more submissions than knockout wins. But again, the cardio is what scares me. McKinney has one finish in the third round and then a bunch of first-round finishes like in the first couple minutes. McKinney's never been to a decision, win or loss. He's been finished in all 3 of his losses, a 100% finish rate. Kind of a killer be killed fighter. And I actually do like the fight doesn't go to decision or even the under 2.5 at minus 145. I did bet it at minus 125. And again, Ziam, he's a finisher as well. He's not shown it in the UFC, but he's finished 9 out of 12 wins. And I mean, it really doesn't matter. Like if McKinney gasses out after a wrestling heavy pace, I could definitely see Ziam finishing McKinney at some point. But I think the more likely scenario is McKinney coming out here, pressuring Ziam, either knocking him out on the feet or taking him down and submitting him. But I think someone does get finished here. Narco, what are you looking at for this fight?
Yeah, actually, I like the Ziam side here. I like what McKinney does. Good wrestling. I don't think his submission game is that good, to be honest. His striking is a little sloppy. He does have a lot of power, however. But, I rate Ziam's grappling a little higher than most. Like, I think his grappling is actually pretty good off his back. Like, he sweeps people. Guys that are much better grapplers, like Malarkey's a better grappler, submission grappler than McKinney is. And, he did well getting up against Malarkey, and Malarkey brings a really high pace. And something that McKinney, I don't think, you mentioned it, his cardio is a huge question mark. You watched that Woodson fight in the second round, he really fell off a cliff. So I think here, like if he does not get Ziam out of there in the first round, I think he's going to be in big trouble later on. I like the Ziam side, the minus 115 right now. I also think a live bet is actually a really good spot if you want Ziam, like after round 1. If he survives that round 1, and he looks okay, I think it's good to jump in there.
Yeah, I think from a live betting standpoint, I'd kind of look at the same thing. So yeah, we're kind of all over the place on that one, but we can all agree that it's going to be a very, very fun fight. Probably one of the best fights on the prelims, and it might even be better than Ramona Pasqual going against Joseph Benavidez. it's really awesome to see Joseph Benavidez back in here after his devastating losses against Davis and Figueiredo. But Weezy, we'll kick this one to you. What are you liking in Ramona Pasqual going against Joey B?
Yeah, I think Joseph Benavidez has found his weight class here, and I think we're finally going to really see him. Or is it Journey Newsom? I don't know.
Who knows?
I'm sorry. I feel like a 12-year-old making these jokes, but I also feel like I cannot pass up on making the jokes. I just haven't been able to do it all week. You guys, I'm not touching this fight with a 10-foot pole. I don't think Josiane Nunez is very good, and I haven't seen enough of Ramona Pasqual to know where she's at this point. It's a big stay away from me. The way that I would handle this, since I don't think either of them are very good, and because it appears that the bookies are all over this fight not going to decision, why not just take the underdog inside the distance? That's Pasqual inside the distance plus 475 bet online. Sprinkle it for just a tiny bit if you're a degenerate who has to have action on every single fight, but I am not touching this one.
Yeah, I have no clue as well. Like, this is a tough fight to call because there's just so many question marks. Really, mostly on the Pasqual side, but even on the Nunez side, like Pasqual, she's not fought the best competition at all. But you look at Nunez, it's not much better. But Nunez, she does hit hard. I have seen more out of her, so I got to pick her. But minus 225, I just don't really, feel like getting involved there. If I had to pick one bet, it would probably be the Nunez by KO at plus money. I don't hate it. I guess she has a ton of power. Pasqual's been finished in both of her losses. So that's probably where I look rather than laying the minus 225. But it's just hard to have confidence in a fight like this. Too many question marks on both sides here. Nunez fighting up at 145, which is nuts because she's 5'2". And like I said earlier in the week, I think she's lying about her height because she looks like 4'11". So she's going to be undersized. It's just a very sketchy fight. Probably one of the more sketchy fights on the card. But if I had to pick something, it's going to be the Nunez by KO at plus money. Narco, what do you like for this one?
Yeah, I'm like kind of opposite on the green here. Like I'm going over 1.5. Listen, at the end of the day, this is women's MMA. I know Nunez is hard, but like she's fought a bunch of cans in the regional scene. I know she knocked out Malecki, but then Malecki said she went in there with some kind of brain trauma injury or whatever she was saying. She was not right when she went into that fight. Pasqual, she's not really good, honestly, but she's a big girl, right? She's much bigger. You saw it at face-offs than Nunez. And in women's MMA, size matters, like, to be honest. And if she gets a takedown here, like, how is Nunez, that's terrible off her back, gonna get up? I don't think she's gonna be able to get up. Not that Pasqual has like good takedowns or anything. It's just that she's so much bigger. If she just, kind of leans on her, trips her, something like that and gets her down, like that's a round, I think, to be honest, in Pasqual's pocket. So I'm just gonna take the over 1.5. It's minus 135 on DraftKings. I just think it's not a bad look because it's women's MMA at the end of the day.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. I was actually surprised that they set the over-under at 1.5 rounds, and I was looking to bet the fight doesn't go to decision, but they came out with a line. It was like minus 160, and I was like, there's no way I'm betting that. And now it's like minus 220, and there's definitely no way I'm betting that. So yeah, this is a big pass for me. And like you said, Nunez, she has shown a very bad takedown defense and get-up game. What's her cardio going to look like as the fight goes on? It's just sketchy. So yeah, we'll see what happens, but a very sketchy fight on these prelims. And we'll talk a little bit about some more sketchy fights here. But first, we have Ignacio Bahamondes going against Rong Zhu. And this is a very interesting fight. We did see that Rong Zhu missed weight by a decent amount. Bahamondes still accepted the fight. And we also saw that Rong Zhu dyed his hair pink, which I think is a big talking point in this fight. So interesting fight. Weezy, we'll start with you. What do you like in here?
Yeah, I like his hair. I think the color really pops. It stands out. This for me is going to be a real close fight, you guys. I think when you want to make Ignacio uncomfortable, you wrestle and you pressure because he's so big, he's so long, he's such a good kickboxer. You really want to get him on his back feet. We saw Makdessi have a lot of success with that. So I think that there's a path here for Zhu Rong. I think that he can get takedowns. I think he can pressure, stay in Ignacio's face, and make this a really dirty fight. And I think if he does that, we're going to see that 100% takedown defense of Bahamondes really get tested here. And if Zhu Rong's able to do that and do that successfully, I think the line that has the most juice on it for me, because I'm staying away from this fight. So when I'm staying away from a fight, I try to find a nice fat prop that I can give you. You could put a quarter unit on it. And I'm thinking of Zhu Rong by decision plus 420 here. Man, that guy Bahamondes is so tough. I don't think there are a lot of people that would have survived what Makdessi did to him in the first round. And then he came back and fought hard in the second and third and made that fight very close. So I don't think Zhu Rong's good enough to finish Bahamondes, even though he's an excellent finisher. And Bahamondes has really only been finished by submission, as has Zhu Rong. Neither one of these guys are much of a submission threat. So I think the fight goes to decision, and I think the fat decision prop is Zhu Rong at plus 420.
Yep, I'm going the same way for the most part. I like the fight goes to decision minus 124. Both of these guys are extremely tough. Both of these guys have like over 40 combined fights, something crazy like that. And neither guy's been knocked out. When like you said, when they are losing by submission. I don't see either guy getting a submission here. So I like that fight goes to decision. As far as a pick, I am on the Bahamondes side. I don't know how I feel about Rongju missing weight by, almost 5 pounds. Is it going to help him? Also the pink hair, how's that going to play into this fight as well? So those are things you got to take into consideration. But I really like what I see from the takedown defense of Bahamondes. I think it's, much improving. It's something he seems to be really working on. He's very long, very rangy, very tough to hold down. Maybe Rongju can get him down, especially with that weight advantage. But I think Bahamondes stuffs the takedowns. I think on the feet, it'll be competitive, but I just like the volume of Bahamondes here. So maybe the line could be a little closer, but I like Bahamondes. But I think my best bet here is going to be the fight goes to decision at minus 124. Narco, how you feeling about this one?
Yeah, I kind of agree with both of you. I think fight probably goes to decision here. One of the guys here in Bahamondes is going to have the volume advantage. He throws a ton of strikes. Zhu Rong is not very good defensively. He gets hit, but we could say the same thing about Bahamondes. I think he blocks punches with his head, his face. I mean, this guy gets blasted. His optics are very bad in the ring because he's always bleeding in every fight. And with that being said, like Zhu Rong does hit hard. He's got a good jab and he has a good one too. And I think he's going to be able to land that over and over again against Bahamondes. I just think this fight is going to be very close, to be honest. And it goes to decision. I like a prop that I saw on DraftKings. It's fight ends in split or majority decision at plus 500. I think it's going to be a very close fight. And you're getting plus 500, where one judge sees optics while the other one sees volume, and they can have a split here.
Interesting. Yeah, you said plus 500 on that?
Yeah, plus 500 on anyone to win by split decision or majority.
There you go. I like it. I think that's very live.
I looked at that bet too, man. I was looking at that last night, and I was looking at that for the Kim Cachoeira fight. It's a very interesting angle.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. But let us keep moving on. We have a couple more fights to get through here. We're going to start the main card. We have Gregory Rodriguez going against Arman Petrosyan. This fight's pretty good. I struggled to find a way to really bet this fight. I mean, it's a clear spot where, this is a violent spot. The fight's going to end inside the distance. I think it probably ends within the first round and a half. But you take a look at the fight doesn't go. It's like minus 450 on DraftKings. Minus 400 on Bet Online. It's just not bettable for me. Even like the under 2.5 is around minus 300. If I had to play something, it probably is going to be the under 1.5 rounds, but I really don't like playing those under 1.5 rounds. But I think this fight does end early. I think it could even end in the first round. I think Rodriguez is going to take down Petrosyan. He's a legit BJJ black belt. I think he probably submits him, but Petrosyan also can work his way back up to his feet like he does in many fights. And at range, he's very live to knock out Rodriguez at any point in this fight. And I think if the fight does, go along, I think Rodriguez is going to slow down, like he tends to do. And I think Petrosyan eventually knocks him out. But I mean, this has finish written all over it. Like even the fight won't start round 3 is minus 235. It's just not a good enough line for me. So if I had to pick something, it would be the under 1.5 rounds. But I wish I was getting better odds on like the fight won't start round 3 or the under 2.5. Make me feel a little bit more comfortable. Give me the under 1.5. Don't usually do this unless it's like a like an Antigulov fight or like a Paul Craig fight, but we'll go with it here. I think it does finish early. Weezy, how about you? What do you like for this one?
Yeah, I'm just going to give you guys the Gregory Rodriguez money line here. I think that this is actually going to be kind of close on the feet. I like Rodriguez's striking. He hits hard, and he's stood up to some pretty good shots in the past. It was Jordan Williams who knocked him out. But if you watch the regional scene footage and even the UFC footage of Rodriguez, this guy can come back when he gets hit. He's done it a couple of times against Jun Young Park and again on the regional scene against, I believe it was Ali Skarov, if I'm not mistaken. Or it was definitely an ACB. He had a fight, or what is Gasanov or something like that. He came back after Gasanov knocked him down. So, or Guy Sumov. My apologies, but it doesn't really matter. This guy is durable and he can come back. Petrosyan looks like he can lose minutes, on the feet, being a little bit low volume. And Rodriguez can mix in the judo and the wrestling to try to get this fight to the ground where I think he'll be better. I think that Rodriguez is more experienced. He's the better grappler. He's fought better competition. He's younger on paper, and he's got a 4-inch reach advantage. So, I'm going with Barack Obama on steroids here, minus 145 money line.
There you go, Rodriguez money line. What is up, F. Carrillo? Always a supporter for me, Weezy. Guys over at Pub as well. Well, what is up, F. Carrillo saying sowing seed? Let's go, let's go. Thanks for the dono, Narco. What are you liking for this fight here?
Yeah, don't be worried, Brady. That under 1.5 is probably good.
Sure.
I just see violence in this fight, man. It's a binary fight where Rodriguez gets this to the ground. He's got a huge advantage. I was talking to somebody that was on Spaces earlier this week that trains over there at Sanford. He just says that people rave about Rodriguez's grappling, where he just snatches everybody's arm in training. Like, he's a really good when it comes to jiu-jitsu. And then you got a guy in Petrosyan, to be honest, he's not very good on the ground. I know he has good get-ups, but that's on the regional scene. He doesn't have a guy as big and strong as Rodriguez, as good of a grappler as Rodriguez is on top of him. So if this fight gets to the ground, I think Rodriguez finishes, pretty easily with the submission. But with that being said, like, if Petrosyan is to, last and get this into the second and third round, he can definitely get that KO in the second or third. But for me, my best bet is the under 1.5. It's minus 130. I think this fight ends one way or another. If it's standing, I think both guys can be KO'd. But if it's on the ground, I really believe Rodriguez has a massive edge.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think it does finish as well. We're going to get to the people's main event here, but before we do so, a favor I want. Oh no, never mind. The people's main event's coming up, but we have Arman Tsaryukian going against Joe Alvarez, and then we'll talk about the people's main event after that. So we'll start with you, Narco. What are you liking for this fight? This is one of those fights where we have a lot of people on the Alvarez side, a lot of people on the Tsaryukian side, kind of like the Benavidez fight last week, or the Benitez fight last week against Onama. You have a lot of people on both sides. We're going to see who's right, but which side are you on for this fight?
Yeah, I mean, I do think Tsaryukian wins this fight. I think he's a big prospect in my eyes. But I also do think Alvarez is live for that submission. Like, the guy is very long for this division. Tsaryukian is going to give him every chance to get that submission because he's going to grapple. We know he's going to go for the takedowns. He's going to give him a chance to put up that triangle, that arm bar. And with the long limbs, I mean, he can sink these in pretty easily, a lot easier than other people. That's why he does have so many submissions on his ledger, and many of them are off his back. But with that being said, my favorite play of this fight here is Alvarez finish only plus 165. Basically, that means Alvarez can finish. You will win. If it goes to decision, you don't lose your bet. You get your money back. But if Tsaryukian finishes, you lose your bet. So I think most of the finishing upside is on Alvarez's side here. So I'm going to take the plus 165 finish only Alvarez.
Is it really 165 now?
Yeah, it's 165 on DraftKings.
Oh my goodness, that's weird because on Bet Online it's like minus 110 now. But yeah, I got plus 150 on that earlier in the week. So yeah, that's a steal in my opinion. I think if there is a finish in this fight, it's going to more than likely be the Tsaryukian side here. And I got to scroll all the way down. I don't know why they do this sometimes, but they have the fight on best fight odds all the way down here. So here it is. And yeah, this line movement has been very interesting. Tsaryukian opened up minus 175 immediately to minus 175, and then a lot of money came in on him. I remember doing stat diggers with Uncle Weezy, and Alvarez was like plus 130, plus 140, and then I woke up the next morning, he was like plus 180, plus 190. So lots of money came in on Alvarez. Looks like there's some buyback as of late, but yeah, for me, it's that finish only. I think the most likely scenario in this fight is a Tsaryukian decision, mixing in takedowns, getting top control, winning minutes. I think he'll definitely be the minute winner here, but Alvarez is no joke on the feet. He's very dangerous there, and obviously very dangerous on the mat, a 100% finish rate. So give me that finish only. I think the bet more than likely does get voided, but I think there's a solid chance he could find a finish here at some point. Weezy, what do you like for this fight here?
Yeah, I got Tsaryukian here. The one thing that Joel Alvarez has never really been able to do in his entire career is dictate where the fight takes place. He's happy being on his back. He's happy striking. But I don't think he's going to be happy being on his back with Tsaryukian on top of him. I don't think he's going to be able to submit Tsaryukian. I mean, look, Tsaryukian has had 4 consecutive fights with Islam Makhachev, Olivier Aubin-Mercier, Davy Ramos, and Matt Frivola. If those guys aren't even coming close to subbing a Tsaryukian, I don't see Alvarez subbing him. Let's remember that he subbed Yakovlev, who's been subbed by everybody. He subbed a Joe Duffy with 1 foot out the door, and he knocked out Danilo Belluardo. So, this is not a guy that is subbing legends on the ground here. So I have a 2-unit bet on Tsaryukian at minus 200, and I also have a 3/4 of a unit bet on Tsaryukian by decision at plus 190. Those lines are no longer available, but I would use Tsaryukian as a parlay piece here, and that's how I would attack this one.
Sounds good to me. I think he probably does win, but we'll see what happens on that one. A lot of people, like I said, very confident on the Alvarez side this week. So it should be a fun fight, though. And now we can finally get to the people's main event. Before we do so, we have about 500 of you in here. If y'all can please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. And also, I put a link to MMA Engine, the new YouTube channel, down in the description below. If you guys could please go subscribe over there. Me and Weezy will be over there on Monday doing a main event deep dive for the biggest fight of the year, Colby Covington, Jorge Masvidal. I saw like a clip of an interview of them too, and this fight's going to be fire. So cannot wait to break that down with Uncle Weezy. Go subscribe over to the MMA Engine. And then we have Eric Betts Fights with the Dono saying, hey, you guys are pretty good at MMA analysis stuff, even with a missing. We miss you, Eric. You'll be back next week for a monster card, but do appreciate the donation there. So I've seen this comment 50 times, Weezy. You want to just answer it so they can stop saying it?
Oh, yeah, for sure. No, it's true. Jian Yang Kim could not hit water if she fell out of a boat, which means that she's not accurate. I've used that term quite a bit. Now that Roxanne Modafferi is retired from the flyweight division, we have got a new crown for not being able to hit water if you fell out of a boat. It's the 34.19% striking accuracy of the lady that some call Fire Fist, but I call Missing Fist, Ji Yan Kim.
Fire Fist. We got Fire Fist and Priscilla Catch a Beating, aka Catch a Cheating, because she really does a lot of both. I mean, this is somebody who has a 40% strike in defense. She's getting outlanded by over 3 strikes, which, Weezy, that has to be like the worst in the division, right? Like getting outlanded by 3 strikes per minute.
Yeah, you would have to find somebody with a much smaller sample size who got like their ass shaved in either 1 fight or 2 consecutive fights to find that kind of a negative striking differential. So yeah, I mean, Cachoeira blocks punches with her face. And then Ji Yan Kim couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. So something's got to break here today. And that's the really interesting part about this fight. Somebody's going to land a punch here and nobody knows who it is because these ladies, I mean, it's going to be fun. This is going to be a fun fight, man. You want me to start off this one, dude?
Hey, you can, yeah, go ahead, start it off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already yapping. So, Ji Yan Kim's like really long for the division, 72-inch reach. She's got a big reach advantage over almost everybody that she fights. But her most recent fight, she fought Molly McCann. She had a 10 or an 11-inch reach advantage over Molly McCann. She lost that fight. Why? Because Molly McCann marched her down, really pressured her, and threw the strikes that landed and looked better, even mixed in a takedown here and there. So Cachoeira is going to do the exact same thing. When you see somebody with a big reach advantage, you kind of hope that their opponent that has the shorter reach is going to stand in front of them, play a technical game with them. That's not what Priscilla's going to do. Priscilla's the zombie girl. She's going to stay in her face. She's going to nullify that reach advantage and make this fight extremely dirty, in my opinion. So because of that, because I think this fight probably goes to decision, I think that I think it's going to be very close. So I'm just going to say Priscilla Cachoeira money line at plus money, plus 142 is probably the way to attack this one, because I think it's a coin flip. And when you got a coin flip and you're counting on the judges, you don't want to be holding the minus money ticket here. And I think it's just a lot of juice to lay for a woman that couldn't hit water if she fell out of a boat. So yeah, I think Cachoeira is the side here. I would take the plus money and just sprinkle it,
Yeah, I thought you were going, towards the draw, and that's kind of where I'm leaning. You got the draw there at plus 6,600. It's going to be a close fight. It's going to be a greasy fight. The judges probably aren't going to know who's winning. I think the draw is actually somewhat live in this fight, but the prop that stuck out to me the most is going to be Cachoeira by knockout plus 470. The problem with this is Kim is very, very tough. She's never been knocked out. She can take a shot, but Priscilla does hit very, very hard. Could potentially see her putting her down. It is plus 470. I don't think it's the most likely scenario. I think this does go to decision more often than not, but that prop did stick out to me. I think if somebody gets knocked out in this fight, it will be Kim getting knocked out. But I'm looking at the knockout prop plus 470 or even the draw. I could see this is going to be such a greasy fight, and I think it's criminal that this fight is above like the Tsaryukian fight. It's above the Petrosyan fight, even like the McKinney fight. Like I'm not sure why this fight's this high up on the card, but it is. And it should be pretty hilarious to watch, but I can't put my money on this fight. So, yeah, the draw or Cachoeira by knockout plus 470. Narco, what are you liking for this one?
Yeah, I'm on the Kim side, honestly. I just think the volume, I know she can't, like Weezy says, she can't even hit the water, but this girl, Cachoeira, dude, she does not move her head whatsoever. One thing Kim does is throw a ton of strikes. I mean, I think she threw over 300 her last fight against Molly McCann. She throws a ton of strikes. I think a ton of them are going to land, albeit they might not be the power punches that come from Cachoeira, but it's women's MMA. She's tough. She's durable. She's never been stopped. I know Cachoeira hits hard. It's just that, optics in this fight is just so many punches are going to be landing on Cachoeira before she lands one. So, with that being said, I like Kim by decision plus 135, but I will add that Cachoeira is a cheater. She fish hooks, she gouges eyes. So point to be deducted is plus 2,000 on DraftKings. I looked at it, I played it. I just think that might happen, honestly, because she's so dirty.
Can I say something?
Yeah,
Absolutely on that. I was going to add that as well. It's not just eye gouging. It's fence grabs when she gets taken down. She's grabbing inside the glove. She's grabbing the shorts. She is the Oakland Raiders of the UFC. If she's not trying, she's not cheating. And if she's not cheating, she's not trying. This woman will fight for your money. She'll cheat. She'll do whatever she has to do to get that win. And I believe we could absolutely see a point deduction here. And I just want to correct you on one thing. You said Cachoeira doesn't move her head. Every time she gets hit in the face, you see her head snap back, Narcocop. She absolutely moves her head as good as anybody in the division.
That is definitely my fault. Correct. Yeah, I didn't take that into account.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you. I just had to correct you on that. You just see it getting snapped back all the time with straight punches, with hooks, with uppercuts.
She's a walking punching bag. It's nuts. It's exciting. It's fun to watch. I get why people like her. And I like her as well. But yeah, she is a big cheater for sure. But we have the co-main event, which I'm not sure about this one. I wasn't sure about the last one with Dawkins and Pickett, but yeah, they have Cirkunov and Turman on this one, and this one's another greasy fight that I really, really have no clue. I mean, Misha Cirkunov, I like him to win, but I just don't have a ton of confidence in it. He's 34 years old. He did look good at weigh-ins. I think that's good. He did look like the bigger fighter like expected. He's going to have a height and reach advantage. There's just so many question marks on the Turman side. So his takedown defense on paper is 100%. What happens if Cirkunov is not able to take down Turman, if he's not able to get on top early? What's this fight going to look like? I think it's going to be very greasy, very close. I'm going to say that Cirkunov does get Turman down, and when Turman is on his back, I have not liked what I saw in the Roberson fight. He was getting out-grappled by Carl Roberson, reversed multiple times. Did not like that. And really, that's, we haven't seen much of Turman in terms of the grappling in the UFC thus far. But I'm going to say Cirkunov gets him down, finishes him, but this is a fight that I don't really want much to do with. I saw Cirkunov was minus 115. I was kind of tempted on that. I ended up passing, and he's now minus 136, minus 130. So I'm definitely going to pass on this one. But if I had to pick one prop, I guess it would be Cirkunov by probably just straight, because honestly, I could see a knockout, a TKO. I could see a submission. I could see a greasy decision. I just think this fight can go so many other ways. And honestly, this could be another fight that is live for that draw. But if I had to pick something here, it would be Cirkunov money line. But I really don't like that, and I have not played it. Narco, what are you liking for this one?
I hate this fight too, to be honest. I just can't get a read on this damn fight. I initially bet on Turman, but then I watched the weigh-ins and I'm like, what the heck is this? This guy looks like 2 weight classes bigger than him. Cirkunov looks massive compared to Turman. I don't think Turman, even though he has great takedown defense, is going to be able to defend takedowns here, just because Cirkunov's so damn big. And, the other thing is, I know Turman, my buddy Sean Orr was saying that, he used to be in the worst camps, training with the worst fighters, and now he's in Danbury, Connecticut with Glover in his corner. So he's getting definitely better training. He's probably, the guy's only 25. He's definitely probably improving now, with the training he's getting, but the size, how much is he improving? I don't know. So with that being said, I honestly, it's a toss-up. I don't know what to give anybody here. Since we have to give a play, I'm going to go with Turman round 3 KO, just because Cirkunov, honestly, he gasses. And if it gets there, I think Turman showed something in the Alvey fight, last fight, where he hurt Alvey bad in the 3rd round. He almost got him out of there, and he showed like he wanted to finish. So I just saw something different than what I've seen in the past with Turman. So if he does that again and it's in the 3rd round, he might be able to stop Cirkunov.
3rd round KO. This fight's rough for sure. I don't love this as a co-main event, but it should be, I guess, interesting. Weezy, what do you like for this one?
Yeah, I feel the same way as Narcocop. I don't know how to handicap this fight, but here's the thing, right? Misha Cirkunov, 11 fights in the UFC, and prior to the Jotko fight, all of his wins and all of his losses had finished inside the distance. And Jotko is the kind of guy who can, he sets the pace of his fights. He brings that boring, slow, always goes to decision pace. I think we're getting fight doesn't go to decision here at a discount because of Cirkunov's last fight going to decision. Cirkunov, like I say, in the fights before Turman, all 10 had finished inside the distance, whether they were wins or losses. Turman, I think, has some power. Cirkunov can get submissions and knockouts. I think somebody's going to sleep here, whether it's with a choke or with a punch. And I like fight doesn't go to decision at minus 170.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me. We very well could be getting a discount. See minus 165 now even. I just really don't want to put any money on this fight. But yeah, I think that's a solid spot. But we will talk about the main event now. Islam Makhachev, Bobby Green should be a very fun one. Shout out to Bobby Green stepping in on super short notice for this fight. I'm very curious to hear both your guys' thoughts on this one. We'll start with Narco. It's really hard to play Islam obviously at minus 1,000, but I'm sure there's other ways we could look at playing it with a prop. Are you taking the shot on Bobby Green? I've been seeing a lot of people that are.
Yeah, I'm definitely taking the shot with Bobby Green. I wish it wasn't a short notice fight where he had to cut weight again. I guess the 160 weight class kind of helps him a little, where he didn't have to cut as much, but it's still 2 weight cuts in a very short time. It is going up against, one of the best grapplers in the division. But what I will say is, this is also probably one of Islam's toughest fights too. Like, Bobby Green is a seasoned vet. Bobby Green has good grappling. Bobby Green has very good get-ups. And with that being said, if he can make Islam work and work for takedowns, you know, get up right away when you're getting taken down and don't settle. You know, if his cardio holds up, Bobby Green might be able to squeak out a win here. I know it's not a big chance, and I expect Makhachev to win, but I'm playing this price, man. Plus 600 to me is kind of insane, to be honest, against a guy like Bobby Green, who has good cardio. He's got good wrestling. He's got good grappling, like very good striking. And the other thing I want to say is he keeps his hands low when he's striking. So like he can defend the takedowns a little better than others, because that's just where he leaves his hands when he's striking. And if Makhachev goes for those double legs, like it's going to be a little harder, albeit Makhachev has a lot of arsenal to get you down. But I don't know, man. Minus 900 is kind of crazy to me. And I know a lot of people are playing the sub prop. Like Bobby Green's faced really good fighters. He's got 43 fights in his career, only been subbed once by Lauzon 12 years ago. So like, I know Makhachev is a better grappler, but he's not actually a very, very good submission grappler. He just suffocates his fighters. That's the thing. So I'm not going to, you know, that sub line at plus 100 or whatever the hell it is, I would never touch it. But I like Bobby Green at plus 600.
There you go. Yeah, I actually did touch the Makhachev submission at plus 110. It is now around, I think, like minus 110. And the reason being it's just a tough ask for Bobby Green to come in here, you know, on short notice, only like 10, 11 days to prepare, having to cut weight, you know, 2 times in a couple of weeks against Makhachev here, who, you know, he's going to be able to get takedowns here. And I think if you can get on top of Bobby Green, although Bobby Green has shown a good get-up game in the past against, you know, other fighters like, you know, a Clay Guida and, you know, other guys like this, Moises as well. I just think Makhachev is going to be the best wrestler grappler that Bobby Green has ever fought in the UFC. And I think we'll have opportunities at some point in this fight. I don't know whether it's going to be early. I see a lot of people on the over 1.5. I see a lot of people on the over 2.5. I don't know if it's going to be early or if it's going to be late. I just think at some point Makhachev will get a submission. And the reason I did go with that submission prop at plus money, plus 110, was because, you know, you can't play Makhachev at minus 1,000. You just can't do it. And I'm not going to parlay him at that price. I'm not doing parlays this week, but I'm getting, you know, I think that's his most likely win condition, either that decision or that submission. I'm more so on the submission side, plus 110. I went with that. But yeah, this is an interesting fight. I mean, it's hard not to root for Bobby Green here. It's just a very tough ask to come in here on short notice. Weezy, how you feeling on this one? You on the Makhachev side or the Bobby Green side?
Yeah, I'm not betting this fight because I think this is Makhachev's fight to win, and taking this fight on short notice, not really being able to prepare a full camp for somebody like Makhachev, who, you know, you really kind of need a full camp to prepare to fight this guy. So I'm thinking that Makhachev rounds 1, 2, 3 is minus 160 on FanDuel. I think he will get this done early, but a couple of things that I looked at that I didn't bet, but man, on DraftKings right now, Bobby Green round 4 is plus 5,000, and Bobby Green round 5 is plus 6,000. I mean, if the fight goes to the 4th and 5th rounds and you've got just a tiny, tiny little bet on Green round 4 and 5, you're going to have so much fun watching this fight, being like, holy shit, if Bobby Green knocks him out in the 5th, I'm going to be rich. So, yeah, I think that's kind of the fun way to do it. You know, play Makhachev, maybe rounds 1, 2, 3, minus 160. And then just sprinkle a little bit of Green there. If it goes past that, then you got a chance to make back that money. But man, yeah, this is an awfully tough ask for Bobby Green. If Green wins this fight, I'm going to be running around my living room screaming. Though I can't wait for this. I'm a huge Bobby Green fan. This is just a huge ask for him. So I'm saying Makhachev rounds 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, if Green pulls this off, it's probably one of the biggest, upsets in men's MMA. I remember Devontae Smith was like minus 1,000 against Kama Worthy off the top of my head as of recent. But yeah, this will be one of the biggest upsets you've ever seen. So we'll see if he can pull it off. Cannot wait for that fight. So we have about 4 minutes left. Gives us enough time to kick it around. Uncle Weezy, let them know where they can find you, what you have going on next week for UFC 272 big card.
Yeah, man, you can find me on my YouTube channel, which is Uncle Weezy. You can find me on Pub Sports Radio every Sunday for Stat Diggers, every Wednesday for the DFS show. And you can find me on the MMA Engine YouTube channel, which was just created yesterday. And I will be doing a Balls Deep breakdown on there Monday night for one of these fights coming up on the UFC 272 card. And Brady and I will also be doing a main event breakdown of the Colby Jorge fight Monday, maybe 5 o'clock, Brady.
Yeah, around there, 5 o'clock.
Yeah, 5 o'clock my time, I think, or maybe 5 o'clock your time. But yeah, so MMA Engine, Uncle Weezy, Pub Sports Radio. You can find me on Twitter at MMA Weezy. It's always great to do this show with you guys. Love doing it. Love everybody that stays with us here and watches us. God bless. Let's stack cash tickets like flapjacks for this event.
Sounds good. Thanks for coming on. As always, Weezy. We have Narcocop as well. Narco, let them know where they can find you, what you have going on next week for a big card.
Yeah, first of all, thank you to everybody in chat like usual. Without you guys, these shows would not be going on. But with that being said, you can find me on Twitter at Narcocop. My YouTube channel is Narcocop MMA. I do my weekly Lambeau Place podcast on Friday. If you can, please go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. I would highly appreciate it. I'm trying to grow my subscribers. So, yeah, thank you very much for having me, Brady.
There you go. Yeah, I put Narco's link to his YouTube down in the description. I put Weezy's link to his YouTube down in the description, and then also put the MMA Engine YouTube down in the description as well. Be sure to subscribe to all of those. And like I said, like Weezy said, we'll be back on the MMA Engine YouTube channel on Monday with the main event deep dive. Weezy will be doing some balls deep, and then we have a lot of new shows planned for that channel. So make sure you go subscribe there, and then subscribe here on DFS by the numbers. Leave a like on your way out. Really do appreciate all you guys hanging out. We have a dono on the way out. Sweet Lou saying thanks. Thank you, Sweet Lou, for hanging out. Good luck, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Follow me on Twitter, DFS_numbers, Instagram, DFS by the numbers. Let's win some money on UFC Vegas 49, and let's win even more money on UFC 272. Jorge Masvidal, Colby Covington next week. I cannot wait. That's about it, and we'll talk.